What a day yesterday. Everything fell just so hard. Today, we've got GDP coming out. We've got unemployment data coming out. The Bitcoin conference began today. We're going to look at Ethereum, the miners. We're going to look at small caps. We're going to look at a couple of plays we haven't talked about in a little while, as well as some of the Mag 7 a little bit this morning. Okay, so before we get going, smash that like button. Hit the subscribe if you've been with us a while and haven't done so yet. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio. Share this video if you find it informative or entertaining, and let's get into it. So, first of all, today we had GDP jobless claims come out. What did GDP look like? GDP is at 2.8% for Q2. That's pretty amazing. What was the expectation? 2.1. So this is coming in hot, which could potentially be sending us up higher today. I can see already that the pre-market is slightly up, not up huge, but we'll take a look at the next piece of data here, which is the jobless claims. You can see here, U.S. Department of Labor or unemployment insurance, I don't know, whatever. One of them posted the results, which was 235,000 in initial jobless claims, which was the expected value and is 10,000 lower than almost 10,000 lower than the previous read of 243,000. So labor is strong, GDP is strong, inflation coming down. Are we going to see a rate cut? Are we maybe going to see a surprise rate cut next week? I don't know. At the Fed meeting, that's coming up next week. I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow. Tomorrow's PCE read is going to be the core PCE read for tomorrow will be a big tell as to whether or not that is even a possibility. We'll see if the CME tool moves it up or not tomorrow. Let's get into Bitcoin. All right, Bitcoin today. This is 2 weeks, not 1 day. Today, we are down another 1.79% today. We're down at 64,200. We came as low as 63.8, which, yeah, okay. So as long as we're staying above the bodies of these ones here, which are going to be at about 63.9, as long as we don't close under that, we're not going to see anything too dramatic. But like I've mentioned yesterday, I am a little bit concerned about this formation here potentially making itself into a head and shoulders. We got a shoulder, head, and then if we come back up and don't go any higher than 66,000, we got another shoulder. Now that's what I'm looking for. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. I could be wrong. It could just drop like a rock, or it could fly high. We don't know. We'll see. Right now, we're kind of positioned between the top ATR, this red band here, and the yellow ATR, which is this band here. Let me turn on drawing so I can see that better. We've got the 5-day moving average, which is this green line way away from us up at 66,000. We got the mid line here of the Fibonacci bands at 60,000, which would probably be our floor if we were to come down at all. So that's a little comforting at least. Let's turn on, you know what we haven't turned on in a little while. Let's turn on the Pi Cycle top indicator and see what that looks like right now. All right, let's see, where are we on the Pi Cycle top? Ooh, okay, so we've kind of basically gone sideways, honestly, since March. So we've been going sideways since March for the most part. We've been in kind of a channel. I've got it drawn there. Yeah, I've got the channel kind of drawn there. Anyways, we are currently below that Pi Cycle, the bottom of the Pi Cycle top indicator again. Now, the top of this thing is all the way up at $98,000 now. And if you remember, oh man, there's a lot of stuff back here. If you remember, we go way above that in the banana zone, in the area where the things are just going absolutely bonkers. We go way, way above that. Let's see how far above that we went at our peak last time, real quick. So the peak was over here. We were above that green line at that point by 46%. If we did that here, we'd be at $150,000. Tends to line up with a lot of predictions, doesn't it? Anyways, that's where we are in Bitcoin right now. So it is not looking super strong at the moment. So we did come back. Okay, we came way below this bottom moving average for the Pi Cycle top. Then we came above it, and now we're back testing it right now. As long as we hold, so long as we can hold above our line there. Let me see if I got it. No, I don't have a line there. As long as we can hold above this like little structure, like somewhere in here, right? Somewhere between 63 and like 62.5. As long as we can hold above that sort of box. Let me just draw a box. That was ugly. As long as we can kind of stay above this box here, I think we're pretty much okay. and we're not likely to come back to 60. Now, if we get below that, obviously, I think we're coming back to 60, and that sucks. But that's okay. It is what it is. We'll just buy more at 60 and carry on. And of course, none of this is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. And if we see price go above 68,000, then we're probably going to make a new all-time high on Bitcoin. So we are in a good area in terms of being near the bottom of the pi cycle top. Remember the top, the pi cycle top here, and we go way past it in the big run up when we finally get it. We go way past that. It's currently up at $97,000. So there's your upside on Bitcoin. Now let's move on to Ethereum. We are on day 3 of trading Ethereum, and it came bad. So looks like I was a little bit wrong here. So it looks like I was wrong. I was thinking that this sell-off here from May 21st to through July was probably the sell-off for the ETF, and it looks like the ETF wants to give us 2 sell-offs, which kind of sucks. That's a bit rude of you, taking 2 instead of 1. How rude of the Ethereum traders. It is down 12% since the ETF started trading 3 days ago. That's brutal. Now, it could go a little bit lower. I am thinking probably, yeah, we might hit 3,100, maybe 3,000 to 2,900. That's a possibility, and then we'll start finding our way back up on this one. The absolute lowest, yeah, 2,900 down here at the bottom of the ATR would be where I'd see us bottoming out at our lowest level, and then seeing us start charging up from there as the inflows come in on Ethereum. But yes, I was wrong about that. I thought that the sell-off was already booked and we wouldn't get a second one, and I thought that this would be a bull flag. Turns out I was wrong. Not always right. That's okay. Not a big deal. Bit Digital is still treating me well. Let's take a look here at the miners now. So let's go take a look at some of our miners now. I have way too many lines on the CleanSpark chart. Okay, there we go. Okay, so yesterday it came down 5%. In the pre-market, we're down at $16.25. It is looking like we are likely to meet $15 for CleanSpark. Now, of course, the Bitcoin conference started today. So lots of news could be potentially coming out from today through Saturday, which could send this stock flying up along with all the other miners in Bitcoin and Ethereum and whatever else is going on there. Okay, that could happen. Obviously, CleanSpark's not going to move on Saturday, but it could see some big moves here today or tomorrow based on what's happening at the Bitcoin conference. But right now, it looks like it does want to move to $15 unless some kind of really good news is to come out for CleanSpark here. And you can see that the MACD is it's getting close to crossing down. It is crossing down above the 0 line, so it's not going to be like a big momentous move, but that could take us down to 15. We are below the 50 on the RSI. It is pointing down. It did cross the signal line. This does not look good. If you took puts here anytime since July 18th, you're doing very well. Or if you sold calls off of shares, you're doing decently well. So there you go. That's insurance you could take out when we get back up to this $20 level. Maybe I think maybe the next time that we might break it. I mean, we've done this 1, 2, 3, 4 times now. At some point, it's going to have to break it. Hopefully, it doesn't break to the downside. That'd be pretty scary. But I don't see why it would. There's no reason for CleanSpark to do that unless something really bad happens to Bitcoin. All right, let's take a look at Bitfarms. There was actually a ruling yesterday on Bitfarms, and from my understanding of that ruling out of that Canadian court, it's that the court did not hold up Bitfarms' change of the poison pill to 15%. They made them push it back, I believe, to 20%, which means Riot can start buying again. And we might see Riot start buying again. Free market is the same as yesterday's close at 261, so that hasn't happened yet, but we'll see. Right. Oh, wait, there we go. Move down to 260 now. And we're about to open. Yeah, there we go. We just opened at 260 and we're coming down. We get any lower than 250, I'm going to be pretty concerned about this double top on Bitfarms and looking at it to come down to about 212 again. And then before, having an epic run sometime in late October, early November. But right now, the formation on Bitfarms not looking great. I do like that. Right now, we could. I mean, that ruling did come through. Riot might start buying more again. We'll see what happens there with that. They have been on a buying spree. Hopefully, maybe some buying comes through on that again. But we do need to get back above $3.03 to be bullish on Bitfarms again short term. Okay, let's move on to Bit Digital. Bit Digital has been, oh no, we lost the yellow line on Bit Digital. All right, the next few days are going to be crucial on this one. All right, we're below the 5-day moving average. We're below this trend line, which is also the midline of the ATR band here, the yellow one. That was at 385. We're currently at 377. If we cannot recover and get back above that yellow line soon, and I mean like by Monday or Tuesday of next week, without losing our structure here, which in this case would be anything below 348. So basically 350. If this thing goes under 350 before going back above that yellow line, we're in trouble on Bit Digital. So this is the first sign of trouble I've seen on Bit Digital in a little while. So that's a little concerning there. Don't love that. Okay, let's go take a look at Mara. Mara got absolutely wiped the last few days. Look at this thing. This is brutal. Is this dilution coming through on Mara? It is down in the last, week and a half or so. It is down 25%. Whew. I have not reloaded my calls on this now because it's just dropping like a rock. I want to see where it's going to fall. It looks like it's going to come to 1980 here. It's going to come right back down to that zone, just like CleanSpark, just right back to that zone that we've become so familiar and bored with. It's going to come right to it, and then we'll see what it does from there. Is it going to come a little lower? Is it going to go to like 18 and then take off? I don't know. We'll see. I'll be watching it though very carefully. Here, the MACD did give us a cross down. Basically, yesterday we got a cross down on the MACD. RSI is in negative territory there at 37. Let's see on the hourly. How's the hourly looking? So the hourly, we did get a base in the pre-market. MACD is trying to cross up, but it's trying to cross up way under the zero line. So it's not going to be like a strong one. We might only see it come up to like 2150 or so and then fail again. So I'm not super convinced of that yet. Mara's still a falling rock until it proves otherwise. Honestly, for me to think it's not a falling rock, yeah, it's got to get up closer to like $22 before I'm feeling like it's not a falling rock anymore. Let's take a look at RIOT. How is RIOT doing this morning? Down 4.5% after being down 2.3 yesterday and down 5.3 the day before. And, well, actually up 1.75 on Monday. So for the week, it's been pretty bad this week. How far have we come down this week on RIOT? We have come down and we're still falling. We've gone 13.35% down this week and we're still falling on RIOT. RIOT is also getting down back into the bottom half of the ATR bands, which is not a place I want to see it to go. Stop doing that, RIOT. You are you piss me off so much, RIOT. I'm so tired, RIOT. So anyways, RIOT, as well as Mara, is back into this larger, lower structure again. It's just like CleanSpark did. So we thought it looked a little stronger because it got above this structure here and held it for a few days. But it is back in that structure. So is Mara. So is CleanSpark. They're all back into that super frustrating garbage structure that has been holding these things hostage since May. We aren't quite out of the woods yet. Now, we will see what happens at Bitcoin Conference. If the Bitcoin Conference comes out with something really amazing, we might see these things fly in the next week or so. So I'm still holding on to the ones that I'm holding on to, but I am a little bit upset. IREN, let's move on to IREN. IREN, ooh, look at you, IREN, doing exactly what I said. So I did actually start a new video series yesterday where I do a short that's about a minute long, doing one ticker and just doing a quick chart review of that. I did IREN, where I reiterated my thoughts that IREN is going to come down between this blue and pink line here, somewhere between 887 and 822, maybe even tapping $8 before reversing. And it looks like it is on track to do that. Currently falling again today, another 4.5% now. At going down to the 969 level, tapping my white line here that I said would potentially be our first level of support. So I do need to watch and see how it interacts here. If we break this descending trend line right here and go back to the upside after tapping this line, then I don't think we're getting down to that $8 level. But if we break this white line, I am pretty confident we are definitely going to go down and at least, tap this pink line down here. MACD still pointed down, RSI is still bearish. So this is not looking good for that. And like I mentioned, I will likely be selling calls somewhere in this area at the money calls. So I'll be going in on at the money calls, which 30 days out are a little over $100. So I will be, whatever I buy it for, whatever my strike price is, like if it comes down to 887, I might sell and starts looking like it's going to turn around, I'll sell a $9 put for about 100 some odd dollars, which would effectively make my cost basis $8 per share for IREN. So that's what I'm looking at doing at IREN, but I am looking at it to continue to come down. But right now it is on my support line. It could turn around here. This is an area to watch it and see what it does. But if this white line does not hold, if it breaks at all, then I'd be looking for it to come down potentially to $8 on IREN. All right, CORZ, going on with CORZ. CORZ finally broke out of this ascending line here. Ooh, and it's down below, solidly below the yellow line here. We're coming down. CORZ is going to come down to this yellow line. CORZ also going to come down to like the 831 level, maybe even $8.09 level here for CORZ, unless, again, something big happens at the Bitcoin convention here in the next few days and everything turns around like a rocket. Things are coming down and they're going to continue to do so for right now. Let's take a look at Wolf. How's Wolf doing? Wolf also looking exactly like CORZ. It came down actually right to my support line, and it looks like it is stopping there for now. We'll see if it holds. If it breaks, though, the next support line is all the way down at 383 for Wolf. Let's take a look at HUT. We haven't looked at HUT in a little while. HUT, same exact thing. Its support level, honestly, 1450-ish. Right, yeah, 1456 support. Next support below that is at 1311. So it is breaking down as well. We'll take a look at CIFR, since I've been asked about CIFR before recently. There it is. Okay, CIFR is actually still in the upper half of the ATRs. It is finding support there at 553 from the ATR band, the midline of that, which is also some support from the past. Yeah, there's a couple areas of support there in the past for it. So it could bounce here. It could like find itself continuing to just hang out in this zone, waiting for a buyer to present itself somewhere, around here. We could see ourselves just hanging out there. I don't think CIFR is going to be super exciting until they find a buyer. And that is the miners for the day. So let's take a look at small caps. So small caps had a little bit of a dip yesterday after coming up. So we had our 5-6% sell-off. We had a little bit of a rip, which yesterday got a little bit disrupted. That scared me a little bit. I got kind of slammed yesterday by that, but it is starting to come back up today with some of this good economic news, which is great because it feeds into that potential rate cuts, which feeds into all money for small caps. So if we can see this thing today close above 221, or honestly just in the top half of the body of this red candle here, which would honestly be anywhere above the 5-day moving average at 219.31. We see that today. I'll be looking for this thing to potentially continue to go up and to see my TNA play go up higher, that triple leveraged on that one. So I'm liking this actually. I still like this. This is looking more like a bull flag every day as it sits there and it doesn't make new lows, and it's just kind of getting tighter and tighter, more tightly wound until it goes, woo, takes off. Looks not too different from like something back here when it took off before, or here when it took off before. It looks very similar to other times it took off. And I do think that it could get to the top of the fib bands here at like 234 before it really, stops running too hard. Okay, the next one, we're going to take a look. Well, now we're not going to do NVIDIA first. First, we're going to do Adobe. We haven't looked at Adobe in a little while. What's Adobe doing? It's coming down. All right. So came back down to the midline, bounced up a little bit. Whew, this is a bit of a flush. Now, if we see this thing turn around and get back above the midline of this descending channel, then I'd be looking for it to come back up to the top, potentially break it at 550 and then start moving back up again. We'll see though, but Adobe does have some significant headwinds here in terms of competition, especially with AI coming out, making the software that they make pretty easy for pretty much any other company. It's really lowering their moat. So I don't know about Adobe long term anymore. But anyways, it's just interesting to watch it, see what it's doing. Let's take a look at Block. What's Block doing? Block. Whew. Block came back, went all the way up to my level, came all the way back down to the bottom, to the lows. I kind of expected it to do a bit of a bounce there, but this ended up being a bear flag and coming down. So nothing on this right now, right? This is just flop at the moment. It's not doing anything of any interest, but it did stop right here, which is interesting. I'll watch it there, see what it does. Not too interested in that anymore, actually. I'll probably not look at that too frequently anymore. It's been mostly just a disappointment, to be honest. All right, what was the other one that I looked at? Let's look at MicroStrategy. MSTR. MicroStrategy went all the way up to 1815, and now we're back down to the 1500s again. Man, this thing is this thing is a fucking horse all the time. Crazy thing moving around. It's going to follow Bitcoin. I'm watching that like 1490 level where I might consider to get back in, but I am worried about earnings on August 1st. I'm personally, since we're so close to it, I'm waiting for the earnings to come through, and then I'm looking at the stock split. I might try to start selling puts on this thing after the split, That's something I'll talk about in a future video, though. So we're just going to look at this right now as it is coming into support. It is coming into support. Support's a little bit lower than where it currently is. And from there, we'll see if Bitcoin sends it higher or drags it back down to like that 1200 level again. And honestly, around that 1200 level, I'd be happy to get back in again. I'd be looking at this channel right here. Let me draw a channel. I'm looking at like this kind of channel right here, something like this. Yeah, that feels good. Something about that. That's what I'd be looking for. Look there. All right, so let's get some Mag 7 stuff. First of all, Tesla. Tesla got absolutely slammed yesterday off their earnings. Now they came down to, let's see, let's turn on the 50-day moving average, which is not that one, this one. Okay, 50-day moving average is on now. It's this orange line. So I am still looking for us to potentially come down to the 50-day at 203. I'm thinking that that's an area we will find some sort of support unless there's like some significant good news that comes out of Tesla. Now we could come up to the 5-day first, which is currently at 235 before making that move down, but the momentum is now negative. We are in bearish territory. The RSI is down under 50. We got a cross a few days ago on the MACD going down. We could see a bit of a bounce up, but I would expect that to be met by sell demand, and I would expect us to come down at least to the 50-day moving average, probably to this top over here about honestly 199. Like we could stop at 205, potentially 205, but once we get there, what's stopping us from coming to 200, maybe even like tapping 199 and then reversing pretty hard from there? I'm looking for it to come back into this structure back here. Let me draw it. Let me draw something around it. I'm looking for it to come into into this bit of structure right there. That's what I'm looking for price to do on Tesla before finding itself moving around, and that's going to be between 205 and potentially all the way down to 174. Now that doesn't mean it's going to go to 174. That just means that's like the lowest it could go before I would expect it to see a significant turnaround in momentum. All right, let's take a look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA, I actually have designs for NVIDIA. I sold out some positions yesterday. Some of them were losing positions yesterday because NVIDIA dropped 7% in one day. I'm watching very closely today. It went all the way down to 110 this morning. It's currently at 113. I want to find out if this is going to be a false bounce here and come further down, or if we're going to come back up. Like if tomorrow we see like price surge up over 117, I'm going to start selling puts on NVIDIA. I'm going to start selling 115 puts on NVIDIA. And the reason I sold some of my positions, some of them losing positions, was so I can have enough cash to do that, which, that's going to take about $15,000 of cash to do that. And I want that cash in my portfolio right now so that I could sell puts on NVIDIA, which would be earning me somewhere between, was it like $200 to $300 a week. So, just off of that, $15,000, that's a great return on that. So I'm watching NVIDIA super close right now. It came into this structure here, right? I do think we could see ourselves come as low as 97. 97 would be like the lowest I expect this thing to go before taking off like a rocket again. Yeah, about 97-ish. Let me just put it right there, right? Somewhere around there. That's the lowest I'd expect. We could see it get as low as like 104, 105 and touch these abandoned candles down here before reversing. But that's why I'm waiting and watching right now. I cashed up yesterday, and I am waiting and watching this thing. I want to see this thing turn around and come charging back up to the 130s. But I want to see where it's going to base first, because I want to get the highest amount of premium I possibly can on it before going in on that sold put and collecting that premium for NVIDIA. Okay, so anyways, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description as well as in the channel bio, and have a profitable day.